Hi, good morning, welcome. Good morning, welcome. Can you all hear me? Hello, good morning. Please confirm that you're hearing me. Hello. If you can hear me, please type in the comment section that you can hear me.
I can hear you, Fina.
Okay, thank
I
you.
can hear you, Pina. I can hear you also.
All right, thank you. Good morning, guys. Welcome to another session with the R community. We are glad to have you. All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session with the our community. Today we have our PowerPoint and visualization class. And if you've been keeping up with us, you know we've had classes in the past couple of weeks. We are the our community. We are a community of people dedicated to helping each other grow. We focus on our personal career and financial development. You want to be with us, you want to be part of this community. Every week we send out emails to our community members, and you should connect with us on our social media pages, our Instagram at the our community, on our LinkedIn at the our community. Can you hear me? Are you with me? All right, thank you. Welcome, Oluwashei. I hope you're all excited to be here. Before we start, I would like to read the bio of our facilitator today. TOC, we bring you content upon content. We do not fail to bring you value that is necessary for your career. All right, today we have Ajibola Abiodun. He's a finance and investment professional with over 2 years of experience in management consulting, financial advisory, and investment banking. He's proficient in structuring financial advisory transactions, building corporate and project finance models, analyzing financial statements, and preparing presentation documents. Ajibola is currently an investment analyst at Blackaion Capital and infrastructure, energy, and infra-tech investment and development company focused in West Africa. He's a graduate of economics from the Federal University of Technology, Akure. Please join me to welcome our facilitator, Ajibola. Drop those fire emojis in the comment section. Thank you. Ajibola, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Fina. Thank you
Hi,
for the
Ajibola. Good morning. Welcome.
good morning, everyone.
I hope you're
Uh,
excited to teach us today.
yeah, I am excited, and thank you for the opportunity. Thanks to yourself and the entire team of TOC for giving me this opportunity to teach. And so, what we'll be doing today is just in a way, I'll be teaching you what I know. And the idea today is to ensure that you can build PowerPoint like a pro. And I'm going to take it as though you are a beginner. So we're going to take from a beginner to the intermediate level. So we have about 2 hours for this class, and I just hope that I can keep up to time. So Fina, you do me a favor to always like let me know. I might not be able to see the chat box. If there are messages down there, let me know. And about the timing as well, let me know so that I can know how to speed things up. So without wasting much of our time, I'll start by presenting my what is it called? My screen. So screen is here. So confirm you can see my screen. Can you?
I can see your screen.
Awesome. So as it is here, build PowerPoint like a pro. So you're welcome again, everyone. And like I said, so in this class, let me first of all give you like a brief overview of what we'll be doing today, so that it can in a way whet your appetite and you have an idea of what we are doing. So I'm going to start by giving a brief introduction, maybe just some things you know already about different layouts in PowerPoint. So this is the slide, this is the navigation pane, this is that, just for you to have to be familiar with this application or this software called PowerPoint. Then I'll let you know a few things, like there are some rules, basic rules that should guide your PowerPoint presentation that you need to know. So what are those things that you need to put at the back of your mind that you have to like ensure that you are doing on a consistent basis? Then we go into formatting like a pro. So yeah, I mentioned that you have to build PowerPoint like a pro, but the thing about PowerPoint is that it's a combination of your text box, it's a combination of your shapes, it's a combination of your pictures, it's a combination of tables, it's a combination of a lot of things like that. So I should, before we even, start building anyone from the scratch, I would like to like show you, okay, how can you, format text box in a very good manner? How can you format your table in a way that you want it to be? So all those different context, all those different things that makes up a beautiful PowerPoint. I'm going to teach us how you can format them. You're going to learn new things today, definitely, and some of it is going to be a refresher for some of us. Then, lastly, we'll build one PowerPoint from the scratch. So I hope you're excited already. I can't see the chat box, but I hope you're excited. So we'll build about 5 slides from the scratch. So we'll do some sort of slide master and all of that. So I'm excited and I hope you are. So let's just dive into this introduction. Let's start with the PowerPoint layout. So I got some of these pictures from Corporate Finance Institute. As you can see, the source over there. So this is a slide layout. So because I needed to extract this picture so that you can have an idea of what it looks like. So what you can see, if this is my system, for example, this is what we call the slide itself. So when you say my slide, maybe my slide, yeah, slide 2, slide 3, this is what it means here. This is your slide, all this white screen. Then this is the navigation pane. So this is where you move from slide 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You'll be able to see the slides here, like the number of slides that you have, right? That is if you are not viewing it on full screen like I am doing currently. Then this is the slide pane. So this is like just showing it's just like the extension of where the slide is. So this is what houses the slide itself. Then we have the notes section. So you can have some notes that you can add to your slide as well for each of the slides. So meaning that you can add a note to one slide. Maybe you are making a correction to, maybe you are a boss, you're a team lead, and you need to sort of maybe send some an information to your junior colleague. You can put some notes here so that the person can be aware. This is the placeholder. So placeholder has to do with where you put your text, where you put your pictures and other features I mentioned earlier. And this is the changing views. So we'll play with these changing views today. So I'll show you how it works. So one of the changing views where you can see the screen on full screen, just like what you can see currently. You can see my full screen. You can also be able to see a lot of slides at the same time, maybe like 10 slides at the same time on your screen. So that's what the changing views help you to do. You can zoom in and zoom out. Now, let's talk about the basic rule of slide development. So I don't just want to start by saying, let's go to PowerPoint. I think that there are some basic information that we all need to know, some rules that guides a beautiful PowerPoint presentation. And one thing you notice in this particular slide I'm showing you, in a way I sort of follow through this basic rule. Number one is your text. Text is so important in PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint, like I said, is a combination of your text and other things. So your text should be consistent. So what I mean is that, we have font size and font style, right? So your font size is like size 12, size 14, size 16. So if you notice in this PowerPoint I've been showing you thus far, my header here, my title of the slide, if you look at the side and the size, is somewhat consistent with what I've been showing you earlier. So it's not like this one, this particular one is like 12, another size 12, another one is 16. So you have to be consistent in your text. Also, the main text itself, which is the body of the PowerPoint, must be consistent. I'm using a 12 here, and if you notice, it's somewhat consistent with all we have here. So ensure that it is clear, it is legible, and it is consistent. Another thing is space and distribution. So PowerPoint, right, just to explain, it's not all about putting a lot of graphics on your slide. You don't need to put all the graphics of this world before you know that your PowerPoint is beautiful. white is beautiful. White space is beautiful. So ensure that you sort of make some white space. Ensure there's a balance. If you look at this particular slide I'm showing you, I'm sure it's beautiful to your eyes. You can see the white space is bringing out
Hi,
the shape.
Ajibola.
Okay, all right,
Please, your
free now.
screen is blurry.
Okay, so if my screen is blurry, it will be as a function of your the YouTube. Is this a question from the YouTube uh,
Yes,
channel?
yes.
Okay, so
The
if you
comment
can
section there saying,
why my slide is blurry is because of the resolution uh, of your YouTube. So if you go to your YouTube, that same YouTube channel where you are watching me currently. So let me check on my phone and let me try to navigate across it.
okay, you can continue. You can continue. It's okay from
Uh,
someone else's side.
yeah, someone else might not know, so that I can explain to them how to do that. So you see the
All right.
setting, right? Click on the setting icon and you click on quality. So then you click on the highest quality. If you're like my phone, you see advanced, click on advanced, then click on the highest quality, and the quality will be at the highest. You'll be able to see that. So, Dami, thank you for that. I can see the comments already
Thank
from
you.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, so the third thing about your PowerPoint slide, right, is your shapes, right? So, like I said, what you can see about this my slide currently is that it consists of some shape like rectangle and triangle. So if you are presenting live, just like I'm doing currently, you can use a dark color shape because it will bring out the beauty. You can see it. If I'm using like a projector, this will be very legible, right? But if you are sending this document out to someone, like you need to print it out, you should use like some sort of light background for your shapes and a deep color for your text. That's the difference. So the colors, so let me just go through this carefully. For the colors, if you notice in my slide, right, I'm making use of two major color. One is the blue and one is somewhat light yellow, or I don't know what the color of this color would look like, but it looks like a yellow, this particular one where I wrote slide basic slide rules. So when you're doing your PowerPoint, whether it's for your company or it's for yourself, make use of few colors. So don't use red, yellow, black, or orange. No, 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 no. It's going to make it like you're going to make it look like a masquerade. So use few colors. You can for maybe context. This is not to tell you that if you don't use two colors, then your PowerPoint will not be good. No, but for context, you can use two major color and one secondary color. So you can use maybe blue and yellow, or blue and orange. The one external color could be ash. So make use of your color and let it be consistent. In terms of your content of your PowerPoint, right? Ensure that it is consistency. For example, if you are using your bullet point, there are different kind of bullet points. There's the dot bullet point, there's the box bullet point, there's the bullet point that looks like rectangle. So if in slide one I see the one that looks like a triangle, and in another slide I see the one that looks like bullet and that looks like a point, and another one I see the one that looks like a shape, a box, it's not consistent. So you have to be consistent in whatever it is you are doing, whether it's your tables, is your paragraphs, everything you are doing must be consistent. Then number six is you need to know your audience. This is so important. So I'll explain. There are basically two type of PowerPoint presentation, right? One is usually for presentation, live presentation, and the other is for people to read. So if you know that, oh, your audience, like you need to go and present maybe at a board meeting, that means you need to use more of graphics, less of text. Because what they want to do is that they want to hear you speak, right? They want to listen to you. And whatever they are hearing from you, your slide should be able to picture in or to give a pictorial element of what you are saying. They are not there that day to come and read what you are showing on the screen. They are there to listen to you. So that means that your text should be lesser than your graphics. However, if your audience is that you need to send a document to your boss or you need to send it to an audience, maybe a report, whatever it is, if it is for people to read, that means you need more of text and less of shapes. I hope that's clear. Then lastly, alignment. So when I started my career, That was where I'm going to like give um, some recognition on that live year. I started my career at FUTA Partners, and I usually tell people it's one of the best things that happened to me because that was where I learned how to use PowerPoint. That was where I learned, and I was speaking to one of my a bit of like a colleague or immediate boss yesterday when the person was whining me that Ajibola, you are like he's whining me with an emoji. I was like, thank God for you. You're the one that gave us the background. But what I'm trying to say is that during that period, there's always something that you need to hear. Your slide is not aligned. Your slide is not aligned. You need to align it. So alignment has to do with the spacing between your text, your shape. So let me show you an alignment. So if you look at this basic slide rule and all this text consistency and the sort of infographics I created here, you see alignment in the space. So it's not like the space between text consistency and space is maybe 5 widths. And from space to shape is another 10 widths. It was consistent, right? So you must ensure that the spacing between your paragraphs, everything you are doing is a bit aligned, not just bit aligned, it's 100% aligned. And we'll get to that shortly. So if you are following, please let me know, give some thumbs up, and so we're about to go practical now. So let's talk about formatting like a pro. So this is where I would like to start building from some slides, right? So, but we'll use this my templates to build it. Before we start a live PowerPoint building. So what I want to say here before we start is this. Like I mentioned earlier, your PowerPoint is a combination of your text box, your shapes, your images, your tables, and your charts. And sometimes it can be a combination of one or two or three or more of all of these I'm mentioning. So when I was preparing for this class, I had the idea that I wanted us to do a live presentation, like we'll build one from the scratch. But I said to myself, if I start doing some formatting, they might not understand what I'm doing. So why not just teach them formatting? Let's even take maybe some minutes, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and let's do some sort of formatting. How can you format a chart? You know, when you see some charts, it's very beautiful. And when you see some, it's ugly and is difficult to understand. So how can you build a chart that is easy to understand and is visible and is beautiful to the eye? How can you do a table that is awesome? All of these things we are going to start doing one by one. So let's start with text box, which is the simplest one. Text box formatting. Fina, please can you confirm if I'm loud and clear and if everything is going on well?
Yes, you are loud and clear, and the people are following.
Awesome, thank you. So let's start with text box formatting. So I mentioned already that these are different parts of your PowerPoint. So when we have here, home is we call it ribbon, home ribbon, insert ribbon, draw ribbon. So you see different ribbon. So if you want to insert a text or you want to type something, this is not a Word document where you can just type. So whatever you want to type on PowerPoint will be on text box. So you go to your insert here, then under the insert, you see a text box, right? So you click on that text box with your left click, then you highlight it from it, like your left click it, you will draw it like this, whatever it is you want to write. So let me assume I want to write something like this: be consistent in your presentation. Let me assume this is what I want to write. So there are different things you can do here. Most of us know this. You can bold this text. Like if you click on this, if you notice, there's an arrow that is clicking on after my your, right? But I'm not just bolding that arrow or that part. I want to bold the whole text. So if I want to bold the whole text, rather than highlight, I can just click on this text box itself, like the edges. If I click on it like this, you can see that arrow is stopped. So I can just click on bold. I'm able to bold. So you can bold, you can italize it, right? You can underline it. So the difference between bold and this S is that it gives you some sort of maybe shadow. So if you do this, you see there's a bit of shadow in it, and you can increase the font size, reduce the font size. Another thing you can do is just like our Word document, you can make it a lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, and all of that. However, there's something I want to show you that you might not know, or maybe you know today. So let me assume that, let me write something. Let me just continue writing anything. Be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. So So let me assume that this is like this be consistent is my title, like the title of my slide. So, and this is the space I want my title should look like. It should not go past this space. But you can see it's already on two lines, one line here and the other one. But I want it to be on one line. So this is what you can do. You can adjust the, so let me take away the subscript, right? You can adjust, so let me do it like this. You can adjust the spacing in between. And how do you do that is, do you see this AV, this character spacing, right? You click on it, then you see it's on normal. So you go to more spacing, right? It takes you to this normal. Then under this drop box, click on condense, right? And increase the condensed version, maybe 1.3. What did you notice? It condensed the text into that one line, that the one line I want it to be. So it didn't, the text could not go over this, the end of my text box here. I hope that is clear, right? So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do in your text box, let's try another trick, right? So let's assume that, okay, this is my text box here. So I want to assume a text. So there's a function you can use to just show any text. So there's called lorem. Lorem, if I put it as 3, to bring out three paragraph. So lorem, I click on lorem. So what I did there, let me show you again, was I did equals to LOREM, bracket, open bracket, 3, close bracket, 3. If I write 2, to bring out into two paragraph, something like this. So I want to do some sort of formatting here, right? So one of the things I want to do is in terms of the spacing. So do you see this line spacing, right? So let me try to bring it together. You see that it is jam-packed, if you notice. But however, from this point here that I'm highlighting is a separate sentence on its own. And this is one sentence on its own. But I want to give it a good spacing such that it is easy for people to read and follow through what I'm doing. So I click on this text box, the edge. I go to my line spacing. So you can go and format your line spacing the way you want it to be. So go to line spacing option here. Then I've learned to use 3 before and 3 after, but you can do it the way you want. So I'll show you what happens at different points. So what spacing before means is this. So let's say the spacing is 6 points before, and we leave it as single. This is what is going to happen. There's a slight change, movement from this and this previous sentence. But another way you can do it is you have to go and you have to decide how you want it. But how I do mine is I use 3 before and 3 after. So I put 3 here. Then I move. If I want to move to after, I click on tab so that I can just be fast. I'll click on 3 again. I click on tab. Then for my line spacing, I give it a multiple of, let's say 1.5 if you like. But it's too much. 1.5 is too much. So what you can do is what line spacing, the meaning of this line spacing here is the spacing between your text, right? So my text is too jam-packed, so I can just give it 1.15, for example. And if I give it 3 points here and 3 points here, and I click on OK, what happens is that it's more legible for me to see. If I want it to be better in terms of reading, I can also give it a bullet point, right? So let's say this is the bullet point I want to give it. So if you look at it this way, it's easier for people to read. Let me change the font size to maybe 14. So it's easier to read. Maybe what I would do is that instead of using lorem, let me pick a text here and use that so that it is a language that we understand, because I do not understand the lorem as well. So let me just paste this here. So let me just paste this here, for example. Let me paste it here. So we have to. So before now, this was how it looks like. So let me go back. It was 0 here, it was 0 here, it was single here, it was 0. So this was how it looks like. Can you see? It's too jam-packed. But if I want to give it a spacing, I use my line spacing options, and probably I like to use 3, and multiple of 1.15 spacing. That's what I use. So you can decide what you use for different organization or wherever you are doing. So just play around it and you'll be able to work around the best line spacing you want for yourself. But there's one other thing I want to do, right? So I want you to notice this. So let me try to insert a shape, right? And let me put this shape like this. And I put it on this line, right? So I want my text. This my text should be under this rectangle. What you notice is that the bullet point is not exactly aligned to the left where the table starts from, right? What can I do to ensure that I move this bullet points, right, to the left so that it is aligned to the edges of this box that is here? So this is what you can do. You click on this text box, right click, and go to format shape. When you get the format shape, go to your size and properties here. Click on size and properties. Then you see left margin, right margin. So what it means here is that it's the text box that you built or you put here gives a left space of 0.25. So I'll tell PowerPoint that I don't need a space, just let it align to the left that way. So I move it, I reduce this to 0 cm. What happens is that my bullet point is now exactly aligned to the left side of my box. So there are times that probably you want to do something like this. So this is just like what you can do, right? Another thing you can do on your text box is so let's insert another text box. So just three more things that I want to show you on text box. So let me still use this, be consistent, right? Oh, I can't see the text box again. Okay, insert and paste. So this is what is on my text box currently. So you can also do some sort of formatting in your text box. So let's go to format shape like I did before. So if I click on it here, I can see this size and properties. So I want us to play around do not fit, shrink text, and resize. So and I will explain what each of them means. So resize shape to fit text means that whatever it is that I'm writing, the text box will be resizing itself to fit what I'm doing. However, if, for example, let me delete this back. Um, if I don't want it to resize, I just want this, anything I'm typing should be within this text box. What I can do is this. I can shrink text to overflow, right? And notice what is going to happen to this text box. If I start typing, this is shrinking the text to ensure that it contains my text box that I've drawn. So this might be something that you need in some of probably your PowerPoint presentation. So it shrinks the text to the size of my text box. That's what happened there. Another thing that you can do, let's control this is what I did by duplicating this. So let me go back to resize shape to fit text. Another thing you can do is let's assume that you want to write a source to a document, right? Source. You want to source maybe a chart. And normally you want your source to be on this horizontal line. You don't want it to break into two lines. So what you can do is you can click on this resize shape to fit text. You unclick the wrap text in shape here. So let's see what's going to happen. If I start typing my sources, hold on, no, not this. Hold on. Okay, not okay. I didn't click on it. So unclick this wrap text. Yes. So go back to here. So if I write source and I'm writing National Bureau of, you can see what is happening to my text box. It's expanding to the right. So it's not moving downward, it's just moving to the right. Whatever it is I'm writing is going to continue. So that's another thing you can do on text box. So these are a few things that you can use to sort of edit how your text box can look like. At this point, before I move to shape, because there are other things we need to do because of time, I'll need to move to shape. But before then, is there any question? And if not, I'll continue with the shape formatting. So I hope you learned few things on this text box. Being able to know how to insert a text box, how to ensure that your text box, you can reduce the spacing to the left. You can also do some formatting that has to do with your shrinking your text or not. Another thing here I did at the beginning was if I want my text to be on just one line, right, I can use my character spacing option to condense it. So these are a few things that you've been able to learn today on text box. So let me move quickly to shape. So there are a few things I'm going to do on shape quickly. So how to insert your shape is you go to insert here and you see shape, right? Click on this down arrow. So let's say we want to insert a rectangle. So let's say this is the rectangle. Yeah. But another thing, let's assume that we want to insert another one, maybe that can contain a text box. So let me insert another rectangle, but I do not want it to be dark like this one. I want it to be white, and the line should be maybe dark, right? So I can do that. So let's say this is the second text shape. So you know how to edit your shape is you can fill it with any color here. So shape fill is like, I want to fill this with no fill. That's what I want because I want to put a text box here. But the outline is the edges around the shape. So I want it to still maintain the color I use, which is this, right? So you can do some editing to your outline. So if you go to your shape outline and go to your weights, you can reduce the weights. The weight is currently 1. You can reduce it as tiny as 1/4. You might not be able to see the effects now, but if you increase the the size of your screen like this, you'll be able to see the effect. But there's one thing I want you to notice. You remember I mentioned alignment earlier. If you can see my screen very well, you notice that this left, uh, this my edges is not properly aligned to my to the first shape I'm drawing. So what I can do is to ensure that this particular shape also have its own, what is it called, shape outline. So the only thing that was here before was a shape fill of this. So I can now give it another shape outline of this color as well. So when I give it a shape outline and I attach this outline to it, if I zoom in a bit here, you notice that it is somewhat more aligned than it was before. But another thing is that the shape outline of this, you have to know the width. The width was 1. So let me change this back to 1 so that it can be perfectly aligned. If I change this to 1 and I zoom in, I'll notice that it is, okay, the color are not the same. So let me pick the right color. This was the color that we're using. So if I use it this way, you notice is aligned to the left and aligned to the right. So you can play around your outline. You can make it dashes, right? So you move to this side under outline. You can make it this kind of dash. You can play around it, whatever it is that you want, depending on what you are doing. Another thing I want to teach us is you can also change the way your shape looks like. I'll show you what that means now. So let's assume that you want to do a funny shape. Like you want your rectangle to be like this, but when it is getting to this side, you want to do a slant shape like this, right? And you can't find that particular shape on insert. So this is what you can do. Let's say this is the shape. You can go to edit shape, then edit point. When you click on edit point, you see 4 boxes here. So let me say I click on one of these and I start moving it. You see what is happening to the shape? It's changing the dimension of the shape, how it looks like. So maybe let's say this is what I want. I want the shape to look like this, right? So I can draw the shape the way I want it to be. So if I leave my arrow, my left click now, what happens is that this is how my shape looks like now. Fina, is there any question for now? And can you hear me?
No questions, and I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. So this is what you can do. You can also edit, like you can change the way your shape looks like. You can redraw it the way you want it to be. Another thing about shape I want to try to show us is when you use a shape and let's say text box. So let's still use this same shape and let's pick one of these text box. So let me pick this guy here, or let me pick uh, my guy here and Control C, Control V. So let me bring it here. Um, okay, let me just insert a new text. So if I insert a new text here, let me use Lauren. Lauren, I just need one text, one space. Let's assume this is what I want to insert. Let me reduce the size a bit. So if I want to put this under this place, right? So like you can use your text box and your shape together. So I can change this color to white so that it can be legible. Then I can group them, right? So grouping means that if I move this across like this, you notice that it's not able to move this together, but I can actually hold these two together. So how do I group them is I click on the edge of this text box, I click my shift button on my system, then I click on the shape itself. Once I'm able to do that, it highlights the two. Then you can either use Ctrl G as group, or you go to shape format, go to group, and group it. So now I can move my text box across, right? So another thing I want to try now is how to ensure there's a bit of alignment. So I want to show you one last thing on text on shapes. So let's assume that I want three of these, right? I'm doing Control B currently and Control B. So let's assume this is how it looks like currently on the slide. And I need to quickly make it aligned, right? Because it's not. I want it to be to be straight, to be is that vertical or horizontal? I want it to be vertically the same. So I can just say, okay, let me hold this like I'm holding this by clicking on shift, and like this. So let me move this up a bit, right? Because I want it to be within the text or the slide. So let me do it this way. So now that I've been able to highlight it, you will use this align to be able to align your objects together. So the first alignment I want to do is that I want to ensure that they are all aligned to the left, or they are all aligned to the right rather. So you choose align right. What you notice is that they are now all aligned to the right very fast. Then another thing, I want to ensure that the space in between each of the objects is the same. So I'll click on align here, and I'll click on, you see this distribute vertically, that shows that it is moving, you are trying to distribute it from here to here. So I'll click on it and it will align vertically. So now the way it looks like on PowerPoint is that the space, there's a bit of alignment between what I'm being able to put together here. So you can use this a lot for maybe when you're trying to align your slides and make it look beautiful. So that's that on shapes. Let me go to picture because time is running fast. So this is what I want to do here. I want to change this my picture to this. That is what I want to do. So I want to remove the background. I want to make it circle. I want to do other things to it. So what I'll do here is, so let me try to duplicate this slide so that we can be able to see before and after. So I'll click on Control D on the slide, right? And I'll delete this guy. These are what we want to use, right? So the first thing here is that if you notice between this and this, right, the in terms of the length of the picture is stopped around my chest. So in order to do that, so I need to first of all crop the picture. So once this is the picture here, you see a picture format. Once you click on picture format, then you see crop. Can you see this crop? So this one that has to do with the arrows, right? Click on it. Then you start seeing a way to crop it. So I don't want to crop upper points. I want to crop this place. So I will drag it up to where I want it to be. So I want it to stop here. So once I'm through, I'll go back to the crop and I'll click on it. So what happened is I've been able to crop it the way I want it. Another thing, if you notice, is that is the left is like is I need to crop the right side as well to ensure that it is more aligned. So I can also crop that maybe. So I'll move it a bit, right? then I'll crop, then I'll crop. Maybe I want to enlarge it, so I try to expand it like this, right? So the next thing I want to do is that I want to crop to shape. So I want to ensure that the shape is circle and not rectangle. So under this crop, you see this down arrow here. Click on it. You see crop to shape. So you can crop to whatever shape you want. So what we want to crop to is we want to crop it to circle. Do you see what happened there? So I was able to crop it to circle. We are going somewhere. So now that you've been able to crop to circle, the next thing is I want to take away this background because I just want it to reflect this white background that is here. So I'll go to my picture format. Then by the left hand side here where my mouse is, you see remove background. So click on remove background, right? So you see two things. Hold on. Remove background. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you see mark areas to keep and mark areas to remove. So just English is so simple there. So for you to pick, you need to pick the areas you want to remain and the areas you don't want to remain. So what I just do is I want to pick the areas I want to remain. So I'll click on this mark areas to keep. What you notice is that there's like a purple color around me, right? So anyone that shows my real face is the one that's going to be the results. So all this purple space is the space that will not show in the picture, right? So you've been able to do that. So I'll just this is my head part. Let me try to zoom in a bit. If you notice my head part here, there's a bit my head that is lost in the background. So I'll use this to drag it like this, like color it, right? So you notice it's back to shape. So this place I want it to show, so I can just do it like this. It will work until I make it perfect. Do it like this to work. Maybe there's a part here that is not working yet, so I'll use this to show that okay, please, I want to keep this area, right? I want to keep this area. Which other area do I want to keep? I want to keep here, right? So at the end of the day, I think I've been able to pick the area I want to keep. So what I do now is that you keep changes, right? And let's click it. So what happened now is that you've been able to format it, right? But the only issue here is that remember you have a circle before. I can't really see that circle again. So maybe I'll do that again. So I'll crop to shape. I'll crop to this circle. So maybe what I can do is to put a border line, right? Can you see this picture border? And put a border line that I want. So maybe I want a black border line. Then I put a black border line. Then I can see we are about getting to where we want to, right? So I think another effect I did the other time is you can use this picture styles to do any effect on your picture. So let me show you. If you click on this, it will give you this effect, give you pre-custom effects. That's what happens here. So if you like any of the effects, you can use it. But I don't want those effects. This is the effect I want. I want it to be circle. So I just want like a bit of if you notice this and this, there's if you notice the down part, right? You see another. Let me try to zoom it. If you notice this part, you see some another line in a way that makes it look a bit maybe cool. So that's what I want to add to that my circle now. So it's under the effect. So when you go to effects, I think it's under bevel. Yeah. So there's this bevel. I think that was what I chose. Rebate. So when I click it, so let's see the difference between this and what we have before. So let me control this. Control V. So this is what we have before. Uh, and this is what we have now, which is very similar to what we have done. So you can format your picture any way you want it to look like. So that's one way to go about picture formatting. At this point, if there are no questions, I'll move to table formatting, right? So we are still going to build one from the scratch, but we need to learn all this formatting because when we start building from the scratch, we use some of this formatting. So we use what we have learned. So if you just click on maybe just insert a table on PowerPoint, let's just say you want to insert This is what you're going to see, depending on the picture, on the colors of your PowerPoint, right? But I don't want my table to be like this, right? I want to edit it to something like the one by the right hand side here. So what do I do? So in order to not waste much of our time, this is the sample and this is the result I want. So let me just duplicate this guy, right? Control D and drag it here so that I can see how I can make it look like the one on top of it. So how can you edit your table? You can edit your table manually or automatically. So let me show you the automatic way. So if you go to this table design here, you see all these different type of table. These are automatic features that they have done. So if I click on this, you see what happens to my table? No style. You see what happens to it? So they've been able to give some different features. But this particular feature that I'm looking for, it's here. This is it here. So you can see you can easily just pick any style that you want and you find the one that you like there, which looks good. But that's not all. If you notice this very well, let me increase it a bit. You notice that it's not aligned to the right like my figures. So I need to make it align to the right. So I just sort of, you know, highlight this, everything here. I go to my home ribbon. You see this paragraph to align to the right. I align to the right and it gives me what I want. Another thing is I want it to be in the middle, like the text to be in the middle of the table. So I'll click on the table itself. I go to home. Then you see this align text here. You put it in the middle. So I align it to the middle. So that was one way to do it automatically. So let's try to do manually, right? So let's do a manual one where we'll not use that effect. So let's assume it's even like this, and you are the one that needs to edit it very well. So if I do like this, I edit it a bit. Or let me say this is how it looks like in the beginning, right? So this doesn't make sense. This doesn't look like what we want. So what you can do is you can distribute, so you can edit this back to how you want it to be. Then what you notice that the column between 2015 and 2016 is not the same width. So in order to ensure that you're maintaining the same width, I'll just highlight everything here, right? I'll go to my layout, then I'll distribute the column. So distribute column is distribute it, the column. This is row, this is the column. So I'll distribute the column. This is the column actually, but I'm distributing it to the right as it were. So that's what I clicked on, and it was able to give me a good spacing, what I want. Another thing that we did earlier was we align it to the right. So let me align it to the right as well. Another thing we did earlier was to ensure that it's in the middle. So let me do that as well. Yeah, put it in the middle. But the next thing now is I want the top to be black and the down part to be white. So how can I do that? So let me start with the top, right? So I will just highlight the top alone like this. So once I do that, I go to my table design. So what's the color I want? I need black color. So I'll click on my pen color, black, right? Okay, not yeah, black color because that's the width of the color of of the table. So I'll click on for now. I'll use all border, right? If I use all border, let me just use all border for everything. So I'm clicking everything here and I'm clicking all border. It's not yet what I want it to be, right? The next thing I want is that the space here, I want it to be white, right? So I'll just go to my shading. Either I click white or I click no fill because the background is white itself. So I click on no fill. I want the top to be black, so I'll shade it as black like this. But what I don't want is I don't want this line, this vertical line. What I need is only is the horizontal line. So how can I take away the vertical line from the table? I'll click the table again. I'll go to this border, right? This drop down arrow. So under this border, excuse me, sorry. Okay. Under this border, you will see inside vertical, meaning that the vertical that is inside the table, right? So I will unclick it or uncheck it. So what happens is that it takes it away and gives me what I want. But the vertical is still under this table side, this 2018 to 2015. So I'll highlight this again and take away the inside uh, vertical. So at the end of the day, my manual looks like my automatic. So you can customize. So another thing, if you notice, this manual is thicker than the automatic, and that's because the if you go to the table and you go to the border, the pen, this you see is 1.1 pt. So maybe our own is more than 1 pt. I don't know, or maybe it's the color of the pen that they use here. So I think it's a bit different. So you might have to go and check and maybe edit it. One thing I can do here is to reduce the thickness of the pen. So let me change it to maybe 1.1/4. And once I change it to 1/4, I have to do the all the effects again. So it's a bit tasky, but let me just quickly do it. All border, or let me use 1/2, all border. But under this all border, I don't want inside vertical. So it's as simple as that. So it's similar to what we have before. So you can either do your automatic table using this design, this table style, or you edit it the way you want it to be. So that's that on table formatting. So what I'm going to do is that this second one I have here, I'll make it an assignment for us. So edit. So I'm going to send this slide to us, right? TOC is going to send it to us. So this is a table actually. So I want you to edit, replicate this table I did here, and let's see how you're able to do it, right? So that we can just quickly go to the column charts and speak about the charts before we build a PowerPoint from the scratch. Uh, okay, let's go to chart. So you can see two type of charts here. There are two things I want to emphasize here is the fact that here I was able to show that it's in millions, right? And so I was able to also highlight one of them that this is the highest over the category. But yeah, instead of writing in millions, I wrote it as a 4.3b. So there's a way you can customize your chart to look like what you want it to be. So we are going to go from bad to good. So what I'll just do here is that I'll go and copy the data that I used here. So let me copy the data. This is the data I used. Um, Copy, Control C. I close it. So I'll come here. I'll come and insert my chart. So when I click on chart, this is the column, clustered column. Okay. So remember, I copied the information I need. So I paste it here. I open this on Excel, edit data on Excel. Um, so let me look at the Excel. So I don't want this series one and this particular one. This is just what I want. The one here, right? This is what I want. So what you notice is that you see a blue feature here. So it's still showing column 1 and 2. So I just drag it to this point to show this. So let's close it. So if you notice, this is how it looks like. Let me reduce the size. This is how it looks like. If I click, this is how it looks like, but this is what I want it to look like. So let's go into how to edit this. So the first thing I'll do here is, so let me first of all use the exact spacing. All right. So this is how it looks like. This is what this is what I want to do. This is what I have now. So I'll first of all take away the series A or the title of the chart. When I click on it, I click on delete. The next thing I take away is the border line. So this line, I click on one of them, then I enter delete. The next thing now is that instead of writing 6 billion, I want my vertical axis to show in millions, like 6,000 millions, because 6,000 times 1 million is 6 billion. So I want it to show something like that. How can I do it? So I'll click on this, my numbers here, then I'll format the axis. So what you notice is that when you format the axis, it will take you to this place. So what I want to format is the number. So I'll click on number here, or no, not the number, but you see this display unit here where you have none. So I can change it to millions. So what happens? It's changed to millions like I want it to be. That's what happened. So if I change this to thousand, oh, it will change to thousand. And if I change it to billions, it will change to billions. What I want it to show is in to be in millions. So that's that. Another thing is you see that there's a line. There's a line here, but it's not here. So I'll still click on this my axis here. So this thing that looks like fill and line, I'll click on it. So I'll fill in my line. So this my line is I'll give it a solid line. So I'll pick the color. So I think this was the color I used, right? So once I pick the color, you notice it has is able to show the line, right? Let me take away this series. Another thing I want to do is that if you notice the width between this and this second one is too large. This is larger than this. So how can I expand the width from category 1 to category 2 to 3 to 4? Is that I click on this guy here, right? So once I click on the bar, the chart itself, like this one, I'll see gap width and series overlap. So gap width is the lesser the gap width, the bigger it will be on the screen. So this is 219 currently. So let me say this is 150. It's already big. Let me take this 100. So the lesser it goes, the bigger it is on the slide. So that's it here. Another thing is I colored everything as ash first, right? Maybe I think this was the color I used. I'm not sure, but maybe this is what I use. Then I colored one of it green. So if you want to pick just one of it, you double click it like this. 1, 2. So when you double click it, then that means you can fill just this alone. So I'll fill it on that format, shape fill, because I used so I think this was the green I used. So I'll leave it this way. The other thing I just did was just to insert a table, like a box, right? That was what I did. I just inserted a box here. And so I can just copy this, paste it. I have something similar to what I did before. So for this second one, I'll leave you to do it, but I'll explain what I did so that you can remember how to do it. So if you notice, this one is also, if you go and check the data I use, it was also in billion naira, billion, but there's no naira there, right? This 4 billion, this 2 billion. So what I did was I had to edit the numbers to show naira and to show that this is billion and not 4.0. So how did I do that? So I will do one of it for you and I'll leave the other ones the way it is. So I'll leave this upper one. Let me do one of it, right? Let's go to numbers. So I'll make this one general. Okay, so assuming I plot the graph, the way the numbers are, this is what it's going to give me. But I want to edit it such a way that it shows billion naira. So I'll click on this number that I want to edit. So once I click on it, sometimes it will show here, but if it does not show, let's assume it does not show, right? You will right click it and format data label. So when you format data label, you go to number here under this label option. Scroll down a bit. So this is under general. So one thing you want it to be in accounting, it should show naira. So under accounting, it will show the symbol that is there, this naira symbol. Some of you might see dollar, but if you see dollar, you have to go and look for naira here and click on naira. Right? Let me control Z. So whatever it is, you can change it to the symbol of your choice here. So another thing is, despite changing to the symbol of my choice, as you can see, it's still showing 4 billion in zeros. But I want it to just show 4.3B. That's what I want. So you format this code. So this code is 0.00. Then this one, you see another 0.00 by the right here, right? So what you do is that you do the same thing for each of them. So 0.00 means 2 decimal place, and you can also change it here actually to 1. So it has changed to 0.0, which is 1 decimal place. Now, if I want it to show just 4.3, I will add comma after the 0.0. I'll add comma once. How many times? 1 comma signifies 30. So if I add 1 comma, it will take just 3 zeros away. Can you see that? If I had another comma, I would take another three zeros away. Can you see that this 4,300? And if I had the last comma, it would take three zeros away, right? That's 4.3. But I want you to write 4.3b. So after my three commas, right? Immediately after it, in inverted comma, I write B. So whatever it is I want to write, any letter I want to write in a code like this or in an Excel code like this, I'll put it in inverted comma and write it. So if I want to write M, I'll write inverted comma then M. What I want is B, so I'll close the inverted comma and it gives me 4, 5, what I want. So what I'll do here is that I will uncheck this and I want you to do it yourself. Fina, am I still here? Hello?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you. Yes, you are here, and there are no
Okay,
questions so far.
okay.
If you
Yeah.
guys are having fun, please type it in the comment section that you're following and you are having a great time. Okay, Abisoye is with you.
All right. So, if there are questions, you can let me know. Another thing here
Perfect.
is we have a lot of charts here, and I still want us to build one PowerPoint from the scratch. So I'm seeing if I will skip some of these charts and just do one, you do the other one. That's going to be a sort of assignment. So what I did here is similar to what we did before. It's the same chart, like what we have here, and what we add here. The difference was that this was a double chart and this is a single chart. So what I did was to change, if you go and if you check the data is also in billion naira or billion. I was the one that changed it to 4.3 like I did, right? So try to replicate this. So how did I do this um, sign here, like that shows that there's a text here and there's some stuff here. That's what I will teach you now. So let me take it away and teach us how to do that. So first, let me take away the no line and let me take away this um, single clustered column. So maybe this is how the chart looks like currently. And I want to change it to have these features such that I can write the title here and I leave some edges for the box, right? So I'll click on this chart. Then under my chart area, if you can't see the chart area yet, you right click and go to format chart area. So you see the fill. You can either fill the contents or the borderline. So the borderline are the ones, these edges. So it's the borderline I want. So I'll click on solid line and I'll pick the color I want. So pick the color you want here. This is the color I choose, right? So you notice that it is all over the text. Another thing now is that I want to put like the title around this place. So in order to do that, I will insert a box, a shape, so that the shape can overshadow this. Hold on, my mouse is acting up. Okay, so if I put a shape, you notice that the shape is overshadowing um, the line that was there before, right? So I'm coming. I just want to make it a bit aligned. Okay, the shape is overshadowing this, right? But remember the shape I use is white, so I'll just change this to white. So shape format, change it to white color. Also change the outline to white color. So what happens? It gives me that space I want. Can you see? So then if I want to type a text, I can then use my text box, then insert my text box here the way I want it to be. Then I can write my um, column or single column chart. So I put it as middle, I drag it a bit here. So this is what I want, right? Then I bold it. So that's what I did. So I want you to replicate this to here. So try to do it from scratch. Don't just duplicate it. Don't do Control D. Try to do it yourself and see what you can, if it's possible for you to do it. Right? The next one is I will do one and you do the other. So if you notice, if someone sent this chat to you, so let me duplicate this. Right. So let me delete all of these guys. If someone sends this to you, this particular chat that we are seeing, I'm very sure you'll be confused because all the numbers are just all over the place. I don't know which one is oil and gas. I don't know which one is FMCG. It's just difficult for me to read it. However, you can edit it. So this is how I want to edit it. So let me show you um, the result I want. This is the result I want. So let me put it by the side so that I can see what I want to do. So this is what I want. So I'll do it for you and you do it yourself too. So I duplicated this guy and I brought it. I want to bring it to the side here. Sorry, my mouse is a bit acting up, so it's not allowing me to drag what I want to drag. So how do I edit this the way I want it to be? Mouse, please stop this. So first thing is I delete this chart title. That's the first thing. The second thing is I delete this borderline, right? We are getting closer. Then the next thing is I don't want all this what is it called? Data label. So I go to this plus, I uncheck data label. So I want people to be able to look at it from here and see what, because what I want to drive is that I want to see that financial services has been increasing over the years. That's what I want people to see. I don't really need to tell them the number, but if people can see, they can see it's moving from about 1 to 5. So that's what I want people to see. So if that's the case, it's still not giving me the vibe that I want, right? First, I don't want this oil and gas, blah, blah, blah. So I delete it. So it gives me the enough space I want. Another thing is I want it to, the content of this graph should be top, but like it should fill the chart. So in order to do that, if you notice the space between 5.5 is 1.5 to 5.5. But here I have 0 to 6.0. So I can change this line, right? So I'll click on it. I'll go to my number, axis option. So the minimum number is 1.5%. So that's 0.015. Yeah. And the maximum is 0.055. So we are almost there, right? Now it's getting closer to what we did. So let me just give this a color. So I click on the chart, the line itself. Sorry, then the shape outline, I pick this color, right? The next thing is that if you notice, this my chart is looking like some like it's looking like a box, like it's cutting in between, but I want it to have smooth edges like this. So if I want it to have smooth edges, I'll click on one of them. I'll go to my fill, then when you draw down a bit, you see smooth line. So you click on it, to make it smooth. Sorry, this is click, okay, yeah. Click on this as well, make it smooth. Then click on the last one, make it smooth. So the next thing is that I want to show that this is financial services, this is FMCG, and this oil and gas. So this is a text box I'm going to use. So in order to put the text box, I'll just drag this chart to the left a bit so that I will have a space to put my financial services. So then I'll insert my text box somewhere here. My mouse is acting up. What is happening? It's drawing itself. So where is it? I'll leave it 9. Let's say financial services. Right. Oh my god. Okay, then what? Okay. So sorry about that. Yeah, financial services here, the way I want it to show, right? You just drag it the way where you want it to be. And the next one is FMCGRB. So I'll drag it where I want it to be. I'll type it later. So let me type oil and gas here. Oil and gas. And I'll type FMCG here. Yes, you will type FMCG here. So it looks similar to what I did before, right? So if I want to be moving the screen around and I want this chart to still be there, so I can just first of all, um, you know, group everything together. So I just go to my shape format and I'll group everything here such that I can now be moving it around the way I want it to be. So I want you to replicate this for what you are for yours. And the other one, just take a look at it and try it out as well because there's no time. So I want us to start a live practice in the next 10 minutes. Okay, before we get there, this is a pie chart. So what I did here, just I did a donut chart and I did a pie chart. So yeah, you can do a chart. So the purpose of this donut is to show that this quarter one was the major driver of sales, right? And if you are reporting like that, or if you notice data visualization or visualization is not just about putting the chart, it's about the story and the chart. So the story here says that the sales is largely driven by the first quarter. And the graph is also saying the same thing because I highlighted that first quarter. And I can see from the chart that indeed quarter one is the driver. So that's one of the ways to make your slides sing to your audience, right? So if what I did here was I used this function called um, pie charts, donuts, yeah, right? Okay, and yeah, close it. This is what I did. Make it smaller. Then for the donut itself, I make it bigger. So by making it bigger is where is this guy? I'm coming. Mm, this will be something here for me to be able to make it bigger. Coming, not all these ones. Okay, yeah, you have to click on one of them. So when you click on one of them, you go to this, and the size of the donuts, you can be reducing it like this, and it's going to be bigger. So that's what I did. So try to do yours, and let's see what it looks like. Then another chart here is waterfall. So waterfall can be a good chart as well. Maybe when you're trying to report numbers, maybe this is the net profit, and these are the expenses over time, and this is not the net profit, right? So it's a way of just trying to show or explain what happened maybe during the period, right? So the waterfall option here was if you go to the so I have like 8 minutes before the live presentation. So let me see if we can recreate this, right? So let me copy the data itself. So let me copy it from here, copy, close. Then I try to build it here. So you go to your inserts, chart, waterfall. So you look for waterfall. So this waterfall here, and click on OK. Right. So I want my what I did earlier. So if you notice, it's still showing category. I don't want category. So I'll click on delete this category and I'll exit it. So let me try to shape it up a bit the way I want it to be. Right. So I drag it. I take away this guy. Right. Then this interest expenses is negative, right? But it's showing as total. If you notice, increase. So I want increase to be a particular color, right? So let me give increase a particular color. So let me double click on this increase and I'll fill it with a color. So let me use blue, right? Then for decrease, let me use this yellow color. Then for total, oh no, the yellow color is not that legible. So let me use like ash. Then for the total, I'll pick the color I want. Maybe it is what is it called? Deep blue. Yes. So the first thing is Excel is not or PowerPoint is not doing it the way I want it to be. This particular one is not total, it's an increase. So what I'll just do is I'll double click it and clear total. So you go back to what it is. This also is not total, this is a decrease. So I'll double click it and clear total. Can you see? Then this last one is total. So I'll double click it like this and set as total. So at the end of the day, this is how my chart looks like. You can take the chart title away. If you notice, there's a bit of space here. So it's still showing that there's a data here that I'm not seeing. So what you can do is right click, select the data, and if you scroll down a bit, you notice that it's picking this empty one. So I'll just say, don't pick it. I'll drag it to where I want. This is what I want you to pick. Then click on OK. Then, oh, my screen is blurry. Okay, okay, okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. So that's how to go about the waterfall charts, right? For these ones, let me just go to our live presentation, right? And if we have time, I'll teach us how to use the map, how to do some combo charts. So let's just go to live presentation. Fina, is there any question or anything at this point that I need to draw my attention to? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Ajibola.
Yeah. So I was asking that, can I proceed? Is there anything you need to draw my attention to now?
No, not so far. You can continue.
All right, awesome. So I'll do like a live presentation now, and I want us to follow. So this is a live presentation. It's you can get this document online. National Bank of Greece Investor Presentation 2019. So you can get it online. I have the document as well. So we are going to build this, 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 and this together, and you have your own assignments too. So we'll get your assignment, the ones you are going to build. But these are the ones we are going to build together now. So how do we build a PowerPoint presentation that looks like this from the scratch? So that's what we want to do now. So in order to do this, I will open a new PowerPoint slide. So this is a new PowerPoint slide. So we are building from scratch now. Yeah. So one thing first is that before you build any PowerPoint from the scratch, or let me go, yeah, before you build any PowerPoint from the scratch, you need to understand what makes it up. So there's a title page here. So that means I need to build a title page. And there are some one, two, three, four, five contents page, and one last maybe final page or thank you page. So if you notice, the content page, which is this, and this, is it has a consistent layout, meaning that there's a dark green here, there's a light green here, there's a space here, there's nothing you have to write here, there's a space here, there's nothing you have to write here. So we need to do our own in a way that it matches what these guys did. So um, let me go back to my new PowerPoint. So when you want to build a PowerPoint presentation from the scratch, I will advise you to start with what we call a slide master. So a slide master is going to help us to be able to build like the thank you page, the title page, as well as the content page, such that you don't need to be editing it. So when you do something on slide master, it's going to give you, it's like a template. You are building a template, the way the slide should look like. But the content is what you're not be inserting one by one. So we want to build like a template now. So you go to view and go to slide master. So when you go to slide master, you notice this. So this is what we call the slide master or the master slide. And this is like some other slides. So I'll start with this second one, right? Where I want to build my content page, right? Remember, this is how the content page looks like. Where is it? This way. So I want to put this box and make it just the way it looks like here, right? Without putting the content yet. I want to build the templates. So in order to build the template, maybe some of these things might not matter now. So let me just delete it for now. Delete this and delete this. Maybe in order to build the template, I don't know how your screen can show it. I'm thinking I should show the two of them side by side so that we can have an idea of what I'm trying to build. So what I'm going to ask now to the audience is, if I show these two slides um, side by side, Can you guys still see it from your end at YouTube? Is it clear? Or should I just return to one of it? Let me confirm from my end here on YouTube. Um,
What's
okay.
the issue?
Yeah, so I want to confirm if I'm showing these two slides side by
Oh
side. Is
yes,
it
you
clear?
are. Yes, it
Is
is
it clear?
showing.
So it's
Yeah,
not about
that's.
showing if it is clear.
Please,
So I
if
don't
the
know.
two slides are clear, can you confirm in the comment section?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Hope Docker says yes, it's clear. Any other person?
Okay.
All right, we have two confirmations that the slides are clear.
Just okay. So what I want to do, like I said, is I want to create a template that should have this guy and that should give a space like this. So that's what I want to do now. So how do we start? Is this so you have to make use of what we call guides. Guides help your presentation to be aligned. So let me go to where you can see the guides. So if you go to your view, right, you see what we call guides. If I uncheck it, that red button, those dots, they are guides. They help your slides to be aligned. So I'll use the guide. So I'll check it. So I'll move it. So if you click on right, left click, you'll be able to move it across like this. Because I want to be able to show that this is where the text box is. So let me use maybe 8.3 here, right? So if I use 8.3 here, I should use the same 8.3 below. So in order to use 8.3 below, I need to drag this one. For me to drag it, if I just drag it like this, it won't duplicate itself. But if I want to duplicate it, please listen. If I want to duplicate it, I'll click on the control button on my keyboard. Then I'll left click it. Then you can see it's now two. It's double. Let me do it again. Let me go back. So if I want to um, duplicate this line, this guide. I click on Control, right, and I left click, then I'm able to drag it. So if I want to drag it up to this point, I want 8.3, remember, 8.3. So this is 8.3 now. So it should be aligned, it should be the same thing with what I have on the top screen. So to make it work that way, I will um, leave my left. I'm still holding my control and my mouse. So I'll first of all leave my mouse and then leave the control. Let me show you what happens if you do it in the other way around. If I drag this like this, right, and I leave the control before the mouse, it's going to move away from where it was. Can you see that? But let me go back to where it was, 8 points. So I want it to stay at 8.3, right? So this is where it is. Another thing now is I want another space by the left and by the right. So let me give it a space here. If you notice, there was nothing that was written between a particular left space. So let me give it about maybe 15.6, as you can see. So to duplicate this, like I said, click on control, then left click it, then left click and drag. So 15.6 is what we are looking for. So I'll drag up to when we get 15.6. 15.6 is what I want. So I'll leave the mouse and the control. I think I duplicated this by mistake. So let me just put it as 15.6. So if that's the case, now I can draw my, what is it called? I can draw uh, my boxes. So shapes. There was a particular shape that was here, if you notice, in what we are trying to replicate. There's a shape here that was like dark color. So I forgot to do something. Uh, because when you open a new PowerPoint, you need to be able to edit the colors as well to fit in what you want. Remember the color we are trying to fit in is, let me go back to the slide. We want something that has deep green, light green, and orange. So I don't know the color code that they are using, but I can get the color code from the presentation. So let me go to the presentation. So let me just, this is what we want to start with, right? So this color code, I can get it, and I'll show you how I can get it. So let's go back to the presentation. So let's assume that I'm inserting a shape, any shape for whatsoever, right? I can fill the shape with a color and I can eyedrop. So the way eyedropper works is that when you click on eyedropper, it picks whatever color you are pointing it to. So if you point it to, oh, it can't pick it from here, but okay, let's just move across, right? So let's edit the colors to be the type of color that we want. So we go to this master slide and you go to colors. So the first color is customize your color. So remember the dominant color is green, right? So pick one of it here. Go to more colors, go to standard. Then I think the color they are using is around this, I guess. So okay, pick another color. I think this is one of the orange that they are using. So let me pick another one, maybe light green. So more colors, standard. So maybe this is a light green. I'm not sure. Okay, maybe this one. Yeah, light green. Then pick another color. So I'm just picking the color that they are using so that I'm not lost for color. So that I have the colors that I need. So this is like deep, I guess. I'm not sure if I picked this before. Yeah. So now I have some colors that I need. So I can just customize it and name it NBG PPT class and name it this. So once I do this, any color that any shape that I try to insert on PowerPoint is going to give me the automatic color that I have. So if I click on this, you can see it's giving me that green that I want, right? Then the next thing is I want to duplicate this, right? So I can pick the color. This is the color, and I can pick the shape outline. This is the shape outline. The next thing is I want to insert another shape, right? If you notice the way it looks like, there's another color here, something that looks like a light green, right? So I can pick the shape view. Let me pick this light green outline, light green. So it's looking like what they did already. Another thing I noticed that they did was, I think there was this ash. What I'm highlighting currently speaks to the number in the slide, right? So the number in the slide is you can either unlock it or unlock it, meaning that you can show it on the slide or not. So if you want to show the number on the slide, you go to Insert, Header and Footer, then click on Slide Number, then Do Not Show on the title slide, uh, and apply to all. That's what happens here. Let's go back to what we are trying to replicate. So if you check what we are trying to replicate, it has something called National Bank of Greece here. Then it has another point here, then a point here. If you notice, it's a bit consistent that the title of their slide is the one here. So if you move down here, you see the title of the slide, our 6 strategic priorities. Then you see subtitle here. Then you see the same thing here. So we need to make this in our template as well. So let's do that. Another thing you need to do on your PowerPoint after setting your color is your font size, right? So you need to do your choose your master font. So when I checked this earlier, the master font they used was a Seagull. So to choose Seagull is like customize font. To choose a font of your choice instead of Calibri, you use and you choose the font that you want here, right? And you choose another one for the body. But because I've done this before, so I'll just pick what I've chosen before, which is this Seagull UI for our class today. Then the next thing now is that's National Bank of Greece. So text box here. Um, so I think it's a bit small. So let me write National Bank of Greece. What I can do is that instead of just wasting my time, I can just copy it from here. I have this document, so you can see it online. We'll send the link where you can download it. So I'll just copy this National Bank of Greece here, right? So that I don't waste much of my time here and probably paste it. So I'll paste it here and I'll use it, right? So National Bank of Greece. This is what I wanted to show, right? The next thing is I need a text here and I need another text box here. So what I can do is, in order to show where my text box should be, I'll use another guide. So I can pick one of these guide like this and show that a the subtitle should be here, control, and the other title should not exit this place. So if I do that, I'll go to my slide master. Insert placeholder is where you can insert text that you can edit on the slide master. So if I insert text and I probably drag it, you see something like this. So I'll delete all the second level to the fifth level. I don't need that. What I just need is something that can show me that I should click to edit. So I like this, delete it. One thing you notice is that because I pick Seagull, it will show me Seagull because I've changed the font size of the font type. So I'll maybe use 20 for this one below. And if I notice it is under, so I'll just align the text to be bottom like we taught us the other time. Another thing is that I want this click to, I want it to be aligned to this red border line. So remember what we taught us on text box earlier. So when you right click, format your shape, you can go and change the position of the text box here to 0 cm. Okay, this is it here, 0 cm. So it's aligned to the left like that, right? So, and bold it. I think this will work. The other one I want to do is the one that's very small here. So I will do the same thing, slide master, insert placeholder. My placeholder is a text. So it's just a small text actually, but I'll delete all these other guys, second to fifth level. Then I'll reduce the font size because it was very small according to what I'm trying to replicate. So I'll pick something as small as this. I think the font color was also a bit ash or so. So I'll make it this way. And I'll put it where I want it to be. I want it to be here. I'll edit it, right? Then align the text maybe bottom. So now another thing I need to do is I want it to also be aligned to the right. So if you want to duplicate a formatting, when you click on this particular format, you see what we call a format painter here. Click on format painter and click on this, you'll be able to format it. So it gives you the same formatting. But I don't want it to be this bold, so I reduce it again, right? Maybe 12 is not bold, then I click the color that I want. So at the end of the day, I have something I can use. So this is a title slide layout. But what I want is a title and content layout. So I will duplicate this, right? And call this, I will name it title and content layout, right? So this is the title. Sorry, there's a question.
Yes. Someone's asking what year of PowerPoint are you using?
Okay, I think I'm using 2016. What exactly can't you see on your PowerPoint? So that I can know probably where you can sit. But I'm using 2016, I guess. I'm not really sure. 2016 or 2019. Okay, so let me just move fast because we are still a slide master. We still need to build those slides one by one. So the next thing here on slide master is I need to create the title slide. That one where we have the picture of the guys, right? So remember I said something about master slide. Whatever I do on this master slide will reflect on every slide. So what I want to do is I can either just copy this guy so that this, or I can just leave it this way the way I want it because this is the slide I want and not the master slide. So this is my title and content slide. This is my title slide. So this title slide, I'll go to slide master and probably just, so this is what I want to explain to you. So if I copy all of this back to slide master, let me control A and put it here on slide master. Sorry. Let me Control A again. Control A and Control C. And put it on Slide Master here and delete these guys. Delete it so that it does not duplicate itself there. Um, okay, I'm coming. Something I want to do. Okay, I want to change this to a title layout. So this is what I want to change it to. I want to change it to where's the title? To this title that I have Investor Day and this picture. So what I can do here is I can either delete all I have here, then I insert a picture. So I insert that picture of that building. So ahead of the class, I got a picture of the building and maybe okay, I don't have it. Yeah, TOC class. Then I think I have the picture. Yeah. So I also have the logo of the company here. So I insert it like this. This is the logo of the company here. So this is what I want. I want this one to be smaller, the way it is there. So I'm just trying to replicate what they have actually. So this is the picture that they used. And after using this picture, I think they put National Bank of Greece here. Then there's a line around this side. So I'll just insert a shape, which is a line. So there are two lines here, like this. Then I think one of it was, let me confirm the color of the line. So the color of the line is deep. One is deep and one is light. So the deeper one is the one below around this side. So let me click on this deep color, then give it a weight of let's say 2, right? Then I'll duplicate it again and put another one here or make it longer so I can increase the width here, right? But this one is going to be a light color. So another thing I need to duplicate is the name Investor Day, London 16, May 2019. So I just insert my text box here. Um, where is the text box again? Text box, Investor Day, right? Then what's the next one? London 16, May 2019. Okay. Investor Day is a bit bold, and I think it's bigger than this. And the color was this. So let me just so that I can see both of them together. So let me do it this way. So the one I'm bidding is the one by the right, and the one I'm replicating is the one by the left. So I have this Investor Day, right? I can duplicate it and put it here. Then write the London 16th May 2019. But this one is a smaller font size, so I'll use smaller font size of let's say uh, this color. They make it lighter. Uh, so probably I didn't get that light color. But let's use this one for now. Oh, hold on. I think it's still that same color, but it's not bold. Yeah, that is it. So I increase it to maybe 18 to look similar to what we have here. So it's looking similar. This is the one that needs to go straight down. So I'll most likely just increase the size of this shape like this. I think it's about at 3. Then reduce it a bit. Okay. Now we have our title. These are title layouts. Now we can maybe duplicate this and get like a thank you page. So let me call this thank you page. Thank you layout. So thank you layout is for this, right? So let me pick it from, let me delete all I have here. So for me to get this, I'll pick it from, what is it called? Let me go back. I'll copy it here and paste it here. I'll do it, but what I want to do is I want to pick the color and I want to take this logo out of it. So for me to pick this logo, what I can use is I can use my sniping tool, right? So if you're using a laptop, you have a sniping tool. So I use that sniping tool to sort of, cut out this. Let me use it again. Neon sniping tool. I'll cut out this guy. Yeah, right. I'll leave it here for now. And so what I want to do is that the background of my PowerPoint, I want to be this color. So for me to pick this color, remember this eyedropper I mentioned earlier. So I'll pick this eyedropper. Hey, sorry, I didn't pick the right eyedropper. So um, format background, solid, hold on, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so format background, solid fill, then eyedropper, then pick this eyedropper. So by doing that, I've been able to pick the color that I want. That means I can copy what I've snapped before, right? Which is this. Then I paste it here. So it looks like what they had before. So now I've been able to do the thank you page. So by doing this, I have um, the title page, the thank you page, and the content page. So I think now we can proceed. So for this content page, let me increase this a bit, right? So if you now close the master slide, what you notice is that you see some jargon there and new slide. So your new slide now is the title content, title and content. The last slide is thank you. So we just build some new slide, which is this particular one. Then if you want to add it, you add it this way. Um, so let's start with the first one. So what we want to build is uh, this first slide. So let's see what we can do here. Um, so because I want to be able to save time, so I'll use the exact presentation document so that we can be able to copy the text and be fast enough. So the first thing here is number one, operating environment. So the next one here is so I can probably just copy it. Copy, paste here. All right. I forgot to add this investor presentation on the top here. So we can do that, but let's see how we can continue with this. So what I'm going to do to save time is I'm going to draw these three charts, the one by the left, and I want you to draw the one by the right as an assignment. So what did they do? If you notice, they inserted a chart, right, which was a shape of a rectangle. So they did something like this, if I'm right. So duplicate, duplicate. So mine is two. So what? Remember the arrange function we taught ourselves. So what I can do is I'll just put it where it should be. Then I arrange it the way it should be also. So I just highlight the three of them. Remember the arrange function we taught ourselves. So when you go to arrange, you go to align, then I will align what vertically. Then it is aligned vertically the way it should. The next thing I want to draw is this chart, this 1.9, 2.0. So how do we draw our chart? Remember, this is a line graph. So go to your charts, go to your line graph. So it's if you notice it has a marker that's like a dot. So that's the line and marker charts. So you go to this place like this. The start category here is 2018 to 2020. So let's do 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Then drag this to this place to pick just these figures. So the next figures is that 2018 is 1.9, this is 2.0, This is 1.8. This is 1.8. And this is 1.7. So I'll edit this on this plot so that I can be able to tell Excel that please I want it to be one decimal point, right? Like this. Then I drag this to the left. So when I'm done, it's not looking like what we want yet, right? It's not looking like what we want, but we are going to try a way to ensure that it is exactly what we want it to look like. So to do that, let me drag it up to the size of the box, drag it to this side. So the first thing is I'll take away this series. So I know what to do. So I'll take away this series. I'll take away this series as well. The one thing you notice is looking at like now. I'll take away this guy. It wasn't there. And if you notice, it was a slanting line, right? So under my line, I'll go to Format, Shape Outline. I'll change it to this dash, right? And it's too thick based on what they did. So I can reduce the thickness by going back to Shape Outline, go to Weight, and probably pick 1/2. So now I have something similar to what they have here. The only difference now is that if you look at it, theirs look like a straight line. And the reason was because the width, the difference between this and this was wider. So I'll explain. So if you click on this, their axis, the y axis here. Remember what we did earlier where we can change the minimum and maximum. So let's try to reduce this minimum a bit and let's see what's going to happen. It's already stretching together. So let's reduce the minimum to let's say 0.8, 1.0, and let's increase the maximum to let's say 2.7. If you notice, if we take this away and we go back to what we are looking at, it's looking like what we want, except the fact that we don't have a data label yet. So click on plus, add your data label on top, and we are already looking like what it is here. So I can just copy this guy, GDP. Um, it won't be easy for me to paste here, so I have to like reduce the font, right, so that it can look exactly or similar in a way. But because of the um, difficulty of making it similar, so what I'll use instead is a text box instead of typing on the box on the chat. So I'll use a text box, right, and then I'll paste it on the text box. So if I paste it here, it's easier for me to drag the text box the way I want it to be, right? So let me see how it looks like here. So it was full on that slide. So if you see, because of the use of text box, I can be able to do it the way I want it to be. I can reduce the font, I can increase the font, I can make it just one line because of the text box. So we've been able to do one of this. I'm thinking this just 11:48. The other slides I want us to try to replicate. Um, Fina, how many minutes do I have left?
You have about 12 minutes left, but we can extend and give you another 10.
Okay, thank you. That's about 20, I
Yeah.
guess. So if that's the case, um, if we notice most of these slides, they are similar. It's the same structure. It's all a line graph. So what I'll say is probably I'll order um, the participants can sort of do the other chart. So I'm going to send the slide across what they are copying, what they are replicating, and they will have to do it on their own template from the scratch. So let me just move to the second slide I want to replicate. So the second slide I want to replicate is this, and this is very interesting because when you look at this, it's a bit difficult to do, but in a way, it's possible. So this is what I want to replicate next. So let's go to a new slide, title and content. Sorry, this is not the title and content. A new slide here, then this title and content layout. So this is we are modernizing. So let me type it here. Oh, I can't copy this. So let me look for it on the presentation document itself. Um, the presentation document is a bit large. I just pick some of it that we can use. Okay, this is it. So because of time, like I want to be able to just copy the text and focus on the graphics. So I can paste here. The only thing now is that they have a here, so we can just insert. If you notice, this is just a circle, right? And they type A in between. So just do something like this and write A and bold it a bit. Do that and maybe reduce the size a bit. So these are really looking like what they did, right? So the next one is how do we do this? So if you notice, you can't find this shape. You can find the rectangle. This is a combination of two shapes. What we are seeing here. This is a triangle, right? But this particular shape that is slanting to the right like this, you can't find it on PowerPoint. Let me show you. If you go to insert and look for the shape, the only one that looks similar to it, right, is this one, but it's not the same thing. Look at this vis-a-vis what we are trying to do. So it's not the same. Even if I try to turn it around, right, it's still not the same thing. So what can we do so that we achieve this is okay? So let's start with the triangle. I'm going to show us. So let's start with the triangle. Triangle is somewhat easy, right? So it's just a triangle like this, right? Which is similar to what we can see on the screen. Maybe increase this triangle a bit. So this is a triangle. Yeah, this is a triangle. The next thing we want to do is what can we do to ensure that we have this shape like this? So when I was looking or practicing for this, I noticed that this is also a rectangle. But it's a rectangle that you need to shape yourself. So this is what they did. So you draw a rectangle, let's say like this, right? You draw a rectangle like this. Let's give this the color. I don't know if this is the color, but let's just. I could not. Okay, maybe this. This looks better, and pick it also. Sorry. This yes. But the only thing now is this. You have to bring it to the front. So this rectangle is overshadowing some part of the triangle. So you bring this triangle to the front. And how do you do that? Is you right click, then bring to the front. So it's looking, we are getting there, but we are not there yet. So what we need to do now is to find a way to just a slant like this. So how do you do that? Is you go to your rectangle shape. So let's do that on a full screen. You go to this rectangle shape, your shape format. Remember what I was showing us earlier when we were formatting shape called edit point. So once you can edit the points the way you want it. So I can move it like this and make it slanty the way I want it to be. Do you see what I'm doing? So you can make it this way. At the end of the day, it's looking similar to what we want. Right. The next thing is there's some white space in between, right? So how do you do that? Is the simple way to do this is to insert another maybe rectangle, but fill it with white. So you can do it this way. You can do a rectangle like this, then fill it with white, which means that fill it with white, fill it with white. So you have something like this. Do you see this? So let me bring it down a bit. Then you do the second one. Uh, I think the second one was, so let's look at where it was. It's around this side a bit. So I'll just drag it again, right? So we have something like this at the end of the day. So we're almost there. The last thing they did here was to add like a dot, like a line, but the line was in dashes, right? So you insert a line as well, shape, line. So they started with from here. So I can't see this shape. So because it is in green, so I can just change it to white like this. So once I change it to white, you notice it's not straight. So to straighten your line, go to your shape format and you always see one of it is closer to zero. So whichever one is closer to zero, make it zero. Enter. So you see it is straight now. Next thing is to make it slant, have dashes. So you include your dashes to it like this. So at the end of the day, we're having something similar to what they did. The only thing we just need to do is just to copy this and put it on our text box here. So, so let me just copy one of it so that we can just move to the next one in time. So you put your text box here, so you can reduce it to the font you want. So let me try to copy and paste it here. So copy this text box, copy, paste. Okay. So at the end of the day, we have something similar to what they did. Um, so if you look at this, it seems that this is a separate text box on its own, and the second one is also a separate text box on its own. So I'm just going to make it two text box. So I'll insert another text box so I can be able to paste the second one. So let me just type something and copy this. You can actually type this yourself, but it's just because of time. That's why I'm doing the copy and paste. Right. So paste it the way it is, and even make do this yourself by going to your paragraph and giving it the dots you want. Right. So at the end of the day, you have something similar to what they did. So I think we've been able to get the trick. The trick we got here was how you can convert a rectangle to be a shape that is slanty like this. So you can complete the rest and put the what is it called? The content there. The next one I'd like us to do has to do with a table. So let me look for it here. I think it's table. When we look at it, it does not look like a table. It's actually a table. So this is what I want to replicate now. So I might not put the full text, right? But I just want to show us what they did. Because if you try to replicate this, you might think that you need to draw some line and make it very straight. But if you look at it carefully, this is a table. And I'll show us why it is a table. So let's look at it. So to insert the table, we have to count how many row and how many column. So there's one, there's two. Then we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So seven in it, right? So remember we formatted our table. So I mentioned earlier that you can format your table to look like the way you want it to be. And that's what we'll be doing now. So I want to format this to look like what this is. So the first thing probably I would like to do here is to change the shade, everything to no fill, right? So that it looks like there's nothing here. Then the next thing is I want the line, the border line to be where is it? Geo border. I want it to be ash color. Remember the line in between the table is like ash, maybe around this color. So I'll pick the pen color. After picking the pen color, I'll go to this and I'll go to inside horizontal line like this. Can you see that? But the pen looks like faint, looks a bit faint. So I'll pick another pen color, maybe 1 3/4, and I'll pick maybe the darker shade, right? And do that again. So it's looking like what we want to do already. So if you notice, you're able to for this part, for the one on top, it was the color, the font color was what? Green, right? So let me type our key challenges. Our key challenges, and this is the opportunity. But what you notice that it is not underneath the line. So we can do that by using this our align button to go to bottom like this. See what it look like now. So we can reduce the font also to look like what we are doing. The next thing was they highlighted all this guy here, right? And they gave it a color. So shape fill and shape color, maybe something like this. So this was what was done. And they were writing on it. And they make sure that whatever it is that you're writing is centralized, meaning that it is to the middle. So if you highlight everything and you can align your text to the middle. So whatever it is you're writing is in the middle. So that's what they did. So it wasn't like a line you have to draw yourself. It's more of a table that was converted to look exactly like what you want. So, sorry, this should be here. Let me try to pick this and see if we can replicate a little bit. So this A, so they just drag the A here, I guess. Control B. So this B, right? So we just put it here. They started control B everything and making everything looks aligned. So to make all of this look aligned, right? Remember, you can use your arrange button to make it make sense, right? So one of the things you can do is this. So let's say I move it to this side, and this is the first one. This is the last one. This is the other one. So I can make this align is by saying, okay, I think I didn't highlight this, right? So what I can do is my table design, I put it there. Okay. Inside, so this is outside but bottom. Yeah. So how can I make this align? If I highlight everything here, right? I can go to my shape format. I go to arrange, align, then I distribute it vertically. So at the end of the day, it's a bit aligned to how I want it to be. So then I can type whatever it is I want to type. So look at this. If I want to type, it's typing from the A. And remember what we said that you can, in a way, probably move what you're typing to the right a bit. So what do we do here is I highlight all this place. I format the shape. I go to this my text option. Then I start increasing the left margin such that I can move it should start from here. So you can see how this left margin is working again and helping us out to do what we want to do. So if I want to type anything under this part, you can see where it's starting from. It's not starting from. You can see what it's showing. That's another replication that we did now. I'm trying to remember the other slide that I wanted to replicate. So let me confirm from my PowerPoint slide. So we've been able to replicate 1, 2, 3. The other one I wanted to replicate is this 2. So I have about maybe 10 minutes or so. Let me see if we can replicate this last 2. So this is the one I want to replicate now. So let me go and look for it on the National Bank of Greece report. I don't know where it is. Is that the front or the back? Okay, I've seen it. This is it. So this is the next thing I want to replicate. I'll click on my title and content. This one has to do with 6 strategy priorities. So I copy it, paste. The reason I'm doing copy and paste because of time, remember? So also this one, I copy it and I paste it here, right? So I take away this. All right. So what do we do? This is a combination of a rectangle and a circle. So it's not that difficult. So we can just insert a rectangle shape, right? So we can insert a rectangle like this, right? So the other thing we need to insert to make it work out is a circle, right? So let's insert a shape and insert the circle. So you notice something like this. I'm not sure I'm getting the size right, but no, not this. Yeah, so something like this. So at the end of the day, it's not still looking like what I want it to be. So what do we need to do here is that the edge of the what is it called, of the circle, like the border line is white, but the main the shape itself, the shape field is green. So what I need to do is change this border line to white. You can see once I change it to white, I increase the weight of that border line. So if I increase it to something like this, you can see it's changing. So let me change it to 3. Then I can type A on it and make it bold. By doing this, I've successfully recreated what they did. The other thing they put here is an icon. So you can just put an icon there. And remember, because this is a combination of two shapes, to make it easier for you to move around, that means you have to drag, you have to, you have to group everything by clicking on Ctrl G. So by doing this, you can easily duplicate and look for the other ones. And remember how to make use of the arrange features so that it can be aligned. The first thing you can do is shape format, align, then distribute vertically. So by doing this, you can duplicate it to the right. The other thing was a line itself. So the line was a line with different with dashes, right? So you can draw a line across. So let me try to draw a line across this shape line. And so if you want your line to be straight, click on shift. So when you click on shift, as you can see, as I'm drawing, it is straight. So you click on shift, like hold shift and drag the line. So the color of the line first is ash, I guess. Then not just ash, it is also in dashes, something like this. Something that looks like this actually. So maybe the dash itself it has higher weighting. Yeah, something like this. You can see I'm able to replicate that and here as well. Then it's easier for you to duplicate this, sorry, and put it by the right hand side as well. So by doing this, you've been able to replicate this slide. 2 minutes. So let me see if we can do the last slide. Um, Title and content. So the last slide is let me look for it. Is this one? If you notice, I copied this concept for when I was explaining the slide development stuff. So it was where I copied the concept from when I was explaining the rules behind slides. So what I just did here was very simple. I inserted a triangle, right? So this triangle, sorry, my mouse is moving around. So this is what I did, right? So I just try to replicate it a bit, right? So shape format, change it to ash, right? Then change the outline to the same outline. Then create a box, 3 box, right? Illustration, shapes, box. So One, two, three. So duplicate. So if this is it, I can stretch this to the right. Then I can duplicate this by highlighting three of them. I use my shift button to be able to highlight them. Control D. So by doing Control D, I can move it across like this. By doing this, I'm almost done. So I bring this down. I Control D just this last one. I reduce it. Can drag it to the right and give it its own color, which is somewhere like this. Right? Then I inserted my text box. So that was what I did, or that was what you need to do here. So guys, um, this is us presenting from the scratch. So because of time, I couldn't include all the text, but what I was able to achieve is to show you how you can replicate a slide by thinking and asking yourself, oh, what they do and how can I do it myself? So in order to ensure that you're able to um, follow through with what we are doing, there's an assignment on this slide. So I'm going to send this document to us through TOC. So there's an assignment at the end. So the assignment here is using the slide master, rebuild these slides I'm showing you. So these are the slides you should rebuild. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. And that is all for the class. Uh, thank you so much. I think that's all for now.
Thank you very much, Ajibola. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great having you. Can we show our appreciation to Ajibola in this chat section? Drop those fire emojis, clapping hands, anything to show that you really enjoyed it and you got value out of this.
Okay.
While we do that, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to go and follow us on our social media pages, on our LinkedIn, on our Instagram, or you can join our Telegram community. Is nobody on this call? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dorcas. Thank you, Damilola. Ooh, good vibes, good vibes. All right. Please don't forget to fill our feedback form and let us know that you enjoyed the session. Let us know what you think about our facilitator Ajibola. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope your weekend will weekend.